just thank you for so many blessings. We thank you for the leaves falling and the seasons changing. Lord, we thank you that you're in control. Lord, we thank you for elections. Tomorrow we have elections, and just thank you for the right to vote. A lot of people sacrifice so much that all of us have the opportunity to vote. And tomorrow we're all going to try to make a decision on what's best for our country. And regardless of the outcome tomorrow, Lord, I just pray that that you will be in charge, that you will remind us that we are the United States of America. And our candidate sometimes won't win, but we're still one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and freedom for all. So just ask us, Lord, a special prayer again, that we all come together, regardless of the outcome, regardless if we're happy or we're sad on who is elected, that we all work together to make our country the best it can be for our children and our grandchildren. Lord, thank you for this commission. Thank you for Commissioner Walker. Today's her last meeting. She's had probably 240 of these in the past 10 years, and what a great servant she has been to Montgomery County and to her District 3. We just thank you for her and continue to bless her life as she moves into new areas of her life, that she'll continue to serve here in Montgomery County in different capacities, because we need people like Rhonda Walker. I say this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Good morning. Scheduled attendees for today's meeting include Sheriff Derek Cunningham, Finance Director Cheryl Thomas, Manager of Public Affairs Ken Ward, our County Attorney Michael Armstead, County Engineer George Speak, and our Senior IT Manager Rodney Smith. Items to be considered on the formal agenda. Consider board member appointments to Central Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission. Consider resolution to enter into an interagency agreement to mitigate the negative impact of the pandemic for District 1. Consider resolution to enter into beneficiary agreements with local nonprofits demonstrating the negative impact from the pandemic, District 2. Consider resolution to enter into interlocal and/or interagency agreements with local government entities to mitigate the negative impact of the pandemic, District 3. Consider resolution authorizing the date, time, and location of the organizational meeting of the County Commission. Consider grant agreement with the County Commission and the Alabama Department of Youth Services. Consider memorandum of agreement for Helping Montgomery Families initiatives. Consider salary adjustment for crime gun analyst classification. Consider employee recognition and appreciation program and related 2024 budget. Consider miscellaneous appropriations to agencies. Are there any additions?
Yes. That's it.
Yes, sir.
What's the name of Commander Fred
Pierce, P-E-E-R-S.
Pierce? $2,000 for Pierce.
Are there any others?
There is there's a couple that has on our pink sheet for the Montgomery YMCA requesting $5,000 for the 2024 YMCA Greater Montgomery 2024 Golf Classic. In the past, we have done this individually. I had put out there opportunity to do it jointly, but if not, we probably need to do it individually. I want to make everybody aware of that one. And then also the Montgomery YMCA is requesting $5,000 for the Wing Festival. Commissioner Walker and Singleton has kind of split that. So I want to do $2,000 from my agency for the East YMCA. And that's all I have from agency.
Any others for agency? All right, consider miscellaneous appropriations to education.
Oh, I have education. $10,000 to Carver High School Principal Discretionary Fund.
Are there any other additions? Miscellaneous appropriations from designated revenue.
I've got several, and I'm writing them down, and I'll bring them to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll go back to the greater YMCA of Montgomery Golf Classic for the Cleveland Avenue YMCA. They're requesting 5,000. I'm willing to do 2,500. Is anybody else willing to?
I'll give the same amount I gave last year, $1,250.
Okay. Commissioner Harris, you want to help with that one?
What did that do?
You did 1,250 last year.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Since you still hold the record for the swimming at that YMCA, so. He reminds me all the time. He still has an all-time record for swimming at the Cleveland Avenue YMCA.
Can't be beat.
Can't be beat. Older you get, nobody can remember anymore either, so that's, I doubt you ever get beat again. So that'll be 5,000 total, Kendall?
You're doing 25, correct?
Yeah, all from agency.
You want yours from agency?
Do y'all want it from agency or donated? I'll go-
Designated.
Designated, I'm sorry.
You on designated now?
Yes, sir.
Take mine from designated.
Okay, yours from designated, Commissioner Moore Ziegler, designated or agency?
Let's do them all together, makes it easier.
You,
Designated, I think.
yes, that would,
I meant, you and I split it last year, I think it was.
1250.
1250, yeah. So let's do it that way, Kendall, all from designated.
will do.
That make it simpler on Tammy and them. Teresa. So that's all I've got on the sheet.
Okay. Item number 15, consider a travel and training request for appraisal, county commission, detention facility, the district attorney, and risk management. All right. We're going to start with our illustrious Sheriff Derek Cunningham.
Another great spooktacular, Derek. Congratulations. It's really good.
I'm glad you came in costume.
Yeah, I came in costume. I'm glad you had yours on. That's the only time of the year you look halfway presentable is Halloween.
Oh. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm talking to the
Morning,
audience. Good morning. Yeah.
The sheriff is here to discuss item number 3, which is consider the sale of 8 decommissioned Ford utility patrol vehicles to be provided to the Barbour County Sheriff's Office.
Any questions for the sheriff on that one? That'll be next agenda.
Item number 4, consider appointment of interim master auto mechanic.
Yeah, that's a temporary position that we got. We don't have a mechanic. We gotta
Still
hire.
can't find one?
No, we don't have nobody.
Nobody.
And so we got this guy now that he's retired from the city. He used to run the city shop, and he's coming over here as a temporary, which would be just 90 days.
What's his name?
Alfonso Banks.
Okay. Any question for the sheriff? He's still trying to find somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Can't find
Oh,
one.
it's
Yeah.
still open. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be next agenda.
Can we do that on waive rules?
Yeah,
So we
'cause
can,
you need somebody now.
we need somebody now.
Any objection to waiving rules on hiring temporary?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay.
All right.
Is that it for sheriff?
That's it.
Boy, that was easy. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Next, we will hear from our finance director, Cheryl Thomas.
Good morning. I'm mainly here to talk about, I have a position that I want to upgrade from a account specialist to administrative assistant. Yes, I should have asked for this during budget, and I forgot about it. I didn't take care of my own house. And, but just with the evolving, we've done without this position for a while, and I think we just need a little bit more. It'll help, it'll be an assistant to some of the other county commission departments as well. And so I would like your approval to put that on the next agenda.
What item is that?
Item number 5.
I think there's a couple other items on here too, but I was speaking to that one.
So it's really only a change of about $6,500,
And that's
And
an
then the
estimate
budget.
of what we think we'll need to,
and sorry, the
Yes,
budget
someone.
should cover that.
yes, the
Okay.
budget will cover it.
Any questions for Cheryl? That'll be next agenda.
And then item number 1, waive rule item, consider authorized signatory for for county bank accounts.
That's something that we've obviously got to move forward and get all the banks updated, to put Kendall as a signer and get the software, get his name on there to sign the checks.
Yep, no objection here.
Any objection, waiving rules for that?
No objection.
Thank you.
And I think there's one more item on here. It's actually from Tax and Audit. It's about personnel did a review of a couple of their positions, suggesting that their pay grade change.
Number 11?
And
Yes.
that is something that we do need to do. And then they're going to take a look at the rest of the department.
How'd they get left off of the latest one that we did? I thought everybody was in that one.
I think that
Not
was,
specific
right.
positions. This also, I believe, is related to, the city has these same positions. And so when they're looked at there, they looked at these.
So it really should be no impact to us because of the vacancies in that department.
Right, I mean, the budget's gonna cover it. You know, we don't have to worry about this budget. I mean, going forward, it will cost a little more when you do the budget.
Yeah. Any
The current
questions?
budget will cover this one, these.
Any questions for Cheryl? That'll be next agenda.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
all right. Next is Manager of Public Affairs, Ken Ward.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, yeah.
I'm here to ask for a waived rule item, which is the consider grant application to Innovate Alabama for their project grant. As y'all know, we were one of, I believe, only 3 counties that are now a part of the Innovate Alabama network, which is really a competitive network through Innovate Alabama, a statewide program aimed at increasing Alabama's innovation ecosystem as an economic development tool. We got a project grant last year that's funding our Parks and Recreation Master Plan that we're doing in conjunction with the city and town of Pike Road. And this year, we would like to apply for another grant, which is a no match required grant for $750,000 for Innovate Alabama to pay for swiftwater rescue training programming at Montgomery Whitewater. As you can see in your memo, the grant funding will allow for us to establish a state-of-the-art swiftwater rescue training program there. This will be one of, I believe, less than 10 swiftwater training locations across the nation, which will attract people from around the country that will spend money here in Montgomery County, stay at our hotels, and then, of course, provide another revenue stream over at Whitewater. And it'll also develop some river access for the fire and rescue operations and some recreational opportunities there at Whitewater, funding some of those things that we were going to have to pay for anyway as well. I want to open up the floor to some of our friends over at the Fire and Rescue Department here at Montgomery Fire, who are going to talk a little bit about these trainings and kind of what it means to have this operation here at Montgomery County.
Hey, good morning. I'm Chief Milam. I'm here on behalf of Chief Jordan today. So what he's pretty much saying is, in a nutshell, this is, Chief Jordan supports this 100%. With this type of training, this type of equipment that, like you said, less than 10 places that actually do this, it actually helps us be more creative. It helps us train with other departments that come from around the states and southeast region. And this also helps us, for a safety standpoint. We train in a lot of natural waterways, rivers, creeks, and stuff like that. And we're safe with it, but this adds a different safety factor to it, as far as being in a more controlled environment. And that would help, from a safety standpoint, that's the #1 priority when training or doing any type of work. But pretty much in a nutshell, this is great. I mean, it's 100% from Chief Jordan. He supports it. And like I said, we've been definitely needing this for a while, and it helps us. Swiftwater, something y'all all know, floods can happen at a moment of a notice. Also, we deploy with AMAS and other departments, and this would help us train with other departments and kind of make this whole thing, I mean, it would actually be a good option.
So y'all training, I think, recently y'all trained in Colorado, didn't you? With some of our guys had to go to,
Yes, sir, North Carolina, Colorado, there's a bunch of places that actually do it.
Yeah.
This also would bring another southeast hub to here, where other departments come. It would be good for the economy, especially the southeast region, Swiftwater teams. It would save them money on as far as coming close to a closer department than having to go somewhere else. And it looks good for us, definitely in our backyard.
You said,
Mr. Chairman, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah,
We-
it is.
We're
That's no
completely
match.
supportive,
Yeah.
and this is one of the things we were excited about Montgomery Whitewater, is the
exactly.
opportunity to do exactly what you guys are applying for. So I would say anything that we can do to support this grant application, the county commission needs to do.
Yeah, there's no match, and the deadline's November 12th, so we need to waive rules. There's any objection to waiving rules today?
No objection.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, our county attorney, Michael Armistead, has items number 6, 7, and 8.
Good morning, everyone. Item 6 is we received a lease agreement or a sublease agreement from the Alabama Department of Public Health for a tenant that they have currently housed over there, HSI Health Services. In our lease, or excuse me, in our agreement with the health department, any sublease has to be approved by the county commission. So what they are asking for is that we approve this sublease for their tenant, HSI.
Who is the leasing?
HSI.
is the
HSI Health Services, Inc.
you know what service
Yeah.
they're providing specifically? I mean,
I do not.
well, that's probably a good deal, though.
Yes,
To have
sir.
it that close.
Yes, sir, but they do provide the services that the health department doesn't. I do know that.
Yeah.
But now the exact ones, I do not know.
And they've been doing this for
They-
years. It's
Yeah,
just-
they've been partnered with the health
Yeah,
department for
I mean,
years.
We've been doing it for years. This just cleans it up for the state, so.
That's correct.
So,
According to the health department, they get federal funds and they have to have a sublease for their federal requirements.
No problem.
all right, next agenda.
Okay. All right, the next, number 7, you have a resolution before you in an effort to move forward with the establishing and administering our own personnel system through Montgomery County and Act 2024-337. This will, currently the employees that work at the personnel board are county employees technically. They come through our payroll and things such as that. What this does is this would abolish those positions. Now, I know that sounds bad, but at this point in time, the city is elected to stay with the current personnel board. Those employees at this point will be transitioning to the city. So what we're doing is we're getting them off of the county books, and then they'll transition to the city, is the plan.
Any questions for Michael?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Are we, again, concerned about one's livelihood? And, I wasn't aware that they were actually our employees until recently.
Yes, sir.
And so, do we have any assurance that these 8 individuals, I understand it, will actually be retained by the city of Montgomery? Because it bothers me if you have 8 people who have families and other obligations, and of course, we all need a job unless we're independently wealthy. So what assurance do we have that these people will actually be retained by the city?
We don't have the actual plans from the city as to what their intent is, other than they are transitioning. If something doesn't happen with the city, there is going to be positions available with the forming of the County Human Relations Department. Now, whether that encompasses 8 people or 3 people or 4 people, that's yet to be found. But as far as anything in writing from the city, we do not have that.
Our goal in this entire thing, once we reach the point of kind of getting to this point, our number one goal is making sure these employees stay on their feet, not, I have spoken with city council president and several city council members about this transition. I've spoken with the chief of staff, Jeremy Reed, about this and, encouraging them very heavily to make sure that this happens in a shape, form, or fashion that these employees are taken care of. There have been very positive conversations to that degree, but as Attorney Armistead said, as we go forward with getting our system on board, that again becomes the first priority, to see where we are in that process and these employees, and making sure that, like I said, if we helping as many as we can to make sure that they are taken care of and they don't lose a day of employment, whether it's the county or the city.
I would also be concerned about whether or not the positions that we might require as we build up our human resource department, are those job descriptions in line with the job descriptions of these any of these 8 employees?
So I think there's a good chance that's the case. But, I think we're gonna have to look at what it is that we need. I think the personnel employees do a good job of the job that they do for us. So there is the good possibility of them coming over and continuing. And of course, some of those, we have to tweak a couple of things here and there based on what, our right-sized option is. We're 700 versus 2,700. So that's a different deal. But as it relates to the HR functions, there may be some things added in there, taken away. But yeah, that's something that we'll look at, and we'll get you that information as to what they currently do and what our vision is for what we'd like to see them do as the Montgomery County Human Resources Department.
Yes, sir. I do appreciate the job that you're doing. One last question, Mr. Chairman, about that. The human resource director
Yes, sir.
that we're going to need, I think we've had this conversation. I think it would perhaps be expedient if we could bring on that person as soon as possible so that he or she might have some input in terms of how we make the transition and what type of talent we would really need to help that individual do their job, the director of
Yes,
human
sir.
resources.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. We've kind of had myself and the finance director have kind of had some beginning conversations and what it looks like to put that out there. Also what that time frame needs to look like. We would love, it is our goal and it is our vision that when we put that out there, that human resources person comes in, has enough time to start filling in those gaps between the different departments that human resources interact with, as well as kind of starts to build on some things and not have to do everything at one time and have to kind of, we want to make this as easy as possible, because what we know is, and, I'll be honest, as I always will with you all, this is going to be a rough transition. This is not going to be smooth. This is not, it's not, some days it's going to look smooth, but behind you, it's not always going to, behind the scenes, it's not always going to be that. But this is something that we're forging ahead in, because this is how we need to do business for Montgomery County. As we kind of transition and start thinking about what we look like for the future. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a daily thought in my mind.
You got the job description already?
I have a job description for HR, and, personnel, we can get those from personnel department and see what those look like, and like I say, start to marry what it is that we want to have.
Yeah, but I agree with Commissioner Sankey. We need to get that done as soon as possible, and have them in place to help, if not direct, the transition.
Yes, sir. I totally agree.
Well, I'm gonna throw in this, that what month is this, November?
Yes.
And we gotta find a human resource director. But what happens in January? Who leaves in January?
Our finance director.
So if you don't have a person to do the finance, you don't worry about a human resource.
Well, we've received finance director applications, so we've gotten those back. We're looking to probably do interviews here in the next couple of weeks, so we'll have a decision But unfortunately, what we're going to have to do, and these are kind of the details, the intimate details, what we'll probably have to do is have a person on contract and kind of get them in and know in the system, because, you know, we can't have two people that have the same job title at the same time.
I'm sorry,
We will have to bring in finance director. Once we decide on that person, we're gonna have to work something out with them to kind of get them in potentially on a contract basis until January, because you can't have two people occupying the same title at the same time on an administrative level. So again, it's on my list of recurring thoughts in my mind.
well, I'm glad Commissioner Ziegler brought that up.
It's short, but the ones that pulsate,
That should be pulsating real loud.
yeah, that's pulsate, so.
So be next agenda.
All right, number 8, this is a resolution, according to the act, that forms or gives us the ability to form our own human resources department. It mandates that the rules, policy, and procedures necessary to implement the county personnel system shall be adopted and approved by the county commission by December 1, 2024. What you have is a collaboration with HRM, myself, Administrator Anderson, and others that looked through this. This document is a document kind of like the Constitution. What it does is it can be changed and morphed, amended to how we need it, and that's what we needed, something that could grow with us as a personnel merit system and an HR department. So that's what this is. So we're asking that you approve this and get under the deadline of December 1st, 2024.
I mean, it's not a part of this. I don't see it. I mean,
It's a large document.
but it has been done.
Yes, it has been done. We've looked at it, HRM has looked at it, we've kind of gone, we spent about 2 hours one day just reading through the entire document in places that we needed to make some changes. And again, this is a document that we can approve it here, get it started, and as we continue to come up against instances that, hey, that doesn't really work, we need to kind of tweak the way that goes to make sure it's fair and equitable and benefits people, then that's something that we will make sure we do.
This is a product of the consultants that we had.
So this is actually the current city county personnel rules.
Okay.
And, we needed a base to start with, and that, have a good base of rules, and so we just need to make it right size fit us. So that's what we've been working off of, but each of you, it's so large that we wouldn't, I think it's about 80 to 90 pages. So that's why we didn't attach it to the agenda, but each of you will have a copy.
Yeah, I understand
So
that.
you can review
I
it.
would have loved to have seen it.
Yes,
But
sir.
I understand that time is of the essence. But I'd like to take a look at it.
Yes, sir.
So be next agenda.
Thank you, Michael. Item number 9, County Engineer George Speak.
Good morning. This item number 9, that's a resolution that would authorize us to apply for an A-Trip 2 grant through ALDOT for intersection improvements at US 80 and Wares Ferry Road. And the grant would be $1.7 million, and there's no county match on it. But we'd like for the next agenda.
Is this where they're looking at maybe putting a red light now?
Yes, sir, add a red light and some turning lanes.
That's what this will do? Down there at,
US 80 and Wares Ferry.
Dubois is.
wow, finally, huh?
Well, the issue's always been that hump, and they're going to do something to grade that hump down, because if cars come over traveling west on 80,
Down that hill.
they come over that hump, they're going to be right at the red light, somebody's waiting, they're going, but I guess
Yeah.
ALDOT's going to handle all that.
Put
so.
another lane in there. You can
Right.
put another lane in there.
Excuse me.
You're gonna put another lane in there.
There's several turn lanes. There's a aerial photo that has they're putting lanes on all 4 of those roads coming in.
Tammy, on some of these, we can't tap on the
Yeah, it
attachment.
won't open up. That's great. We've had all kind of complaints about that situation.
But that's kind of a preliminary conception, but like I say, ALDOT will have to do detailed set of plans on it before we know exactly what's going on.
No
going
matching,
in.
7 million?
1.7.
1.7.
Yeah, 1.7 million,
And no county funds.
no match.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just one question about that. Since I've been sitting on the Montgomery Metropolitan Planning Organization, almost every project comes up over budget. What do we do in case this particular project is over budget?
We can go back and ask for additional funding, because we can go up to 2 million on these A-TRIP grants. But
Is it like a good figure based upon your experience with engineering and construction?
now we did an A-TRIP grant on Mitchell Young in 80, and everything worked out fine on it. And also on Hyundai Boulevard, there was no
I think it's a
overrun.
good opportunity. I was just concerned about these cost overruns that we almost get with every project, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Right, we, like I said, we can go back and ask for more money, or we can adjust our budget next year to cover it somehow.
Yeah, now DOT's looking to do a study on the intersection there off of I-85 at Ware's Ferry where it crosses over, having access to the interstate there. They're in the process now of looking at doing a study at the city, the town of Pike Road, the county, to help with that.
Okay.
It's coming down the pipe, so it'll be something that I'll probably bring to the commission pretty soon, but it kind of ties in all this
Oh,
together.
right. Mm-hmm.
So it'll be next agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, George.
For item number 10, Senior IT Manager Rodney Smith.
Good morning. What we have before you is the renewal contract for our Microsoft Enterprise Agreement. This is something we've had in place since, I think, before 2006.
Excuse me,
And
Tammy, can y'all click on that so we can see the attachment? Because we can't, on ours, we can't click on it. Okay, thank you.
But it's just the formal paperwork to renew the annual Microsoft EA agreement, and it's a commitment for 3 years.
Did it increase, Rod?
Yes, sir.
What is
did
it now?
from-
I don't see any money on here.
But it's in the budget. We did budget for this increase.
But what was the increase on it?
I think it was about 40,000 per year.
Okay.
Any other questions for Rodney on this one? Maybe next agenda.
Thank you.
All right, we've discussed item number 11. Item number 12 is for a resolution to further obligate individual commissioner funds through an interagency agreement. Specifically, this is a resolution that would authorize the obligation of up to $50,000 for Commissioner Sankey's allocation for the purpose of procuring a project manager for Commissioner Sankey's individual projects.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
that is still important to me, but it's not as important as it was the first time I thought about it. So, you know, however we want to go with that.
Well, this,
However we want to go with that is fine.
well, this just authorizes to do it if you decide to do it. It don't obligate you to doing it,
You know, 'cause
so.
there was a number of programs that, needed to be monitored. We were putting quite a bit of workload on our administrator, who was the deputy administrator at that time. And I believe, I don't know, I guess that was your role with all the opera expenditures to kind of monitor each program that we funded. And it just,
Not in terms of expenditures, but making sure that the programs are moving.
yes.
Getting off the ground. I will say, like Commissioner, like the chairman said, if, you can go ahead and move on this, and at a later date, this becomes more important, it will be done. And if you decide not to go forward with it, then at least you will have it ready to go at a moment's notice. So you don't really have to do anything I guess you don't have to back out or anything today.
Yeah, it's not gonna obligate you either way, so.
Right,
So we'll just move to the next agenda.
yeah. Item number 13, consider resolution accepting the vendor for the community grant program. Just some background on this. Several weeks ago, we sent out an RFP for an entity to manage what is the community grant program. So this program was initially thought of as a place for your individual commission funds if, you know, it could not be decided to meet in time to meet the obligation deadline. We have found that entity, and we would like to get this resolution done so that we can go ahead and start negotiating, Levitate, of course, on our behalf, would negotiate with that entity to set up this partnership program. So any questions about that?
What entity is it? Who is it? Why can't you tell us?
Well, the entity is the Alabama Civil Justice Foundation.
Civil Justice Foundation.
Yes, sir. They had a great proposal. I will tell you, we received several proposals. Theirs graded out to be the best.
And they would be used for what now?
So basically, using this round number, they would hold $1 million. And so if you all decide in January that you want to take this $1 million and you want to do a ARPA program with it, you still have that flexibility versus us trying to hurry and spend money by December 31st to obligate it. This grant program puts the funds there, meets the obligation deadline, and that way, January, you can still utilize these ARPA funds because they've already previously been obligated toward this program. So it becomes a grant program. And so it enables us the flexibility if you want to provide funding to a particular program, if you want to increase funding to a current ARPA program, it provides that flexibility.
So it's not restricted to certain areas, and it could be going to any ARPA approved.
That was my question.
So it could
you
be
know,
used
what-
for any ARPA.
what
Yes,
if-
it can be used for current ARPA programs. You could potentially develop new ARPA
Something
programs.
that has nothing to do with civil justice, I'm saying, if we wanted to, my program wanted to do something.
Oh, no, this would, you know, outside of they would be administration costs, that's what goes to civil justice. But no, this is not, we just gonna give the money to civil justice and they keeping it. No. We're using civil justice as an entity to say, you hold this money, and when we're ready to use it to go towards another purpose, they would say, okay, just tell us, you know, get them to submit some information to us, and we'll double check them, we'll proof them, we'll make sure they're gonna use the money properly, and then we'll give it to them. So civil justice is basically a third party.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that, you know, most of the time when civil justice and the grants that they issue would be for organizations that are about civil justice.
Correct. No, sir,
So-
that is not tied to their mission. It is tied to we've given them a list of categories that the funds would be given to. So yes, sir, it is wide ranging.
Okay.
And their administrative fee again?
15%.
15?
Yes, sir.
That's a steep administrative fee.
Nice work when you can get it.
That'll be next agenda.
All right, thank you. Item number 14, consider resolution authorizing the county's Thanksgiving holiday observance on Friday, November the 29th, 2024.
That'll be next agenda.
Item number 15, consider amendment number 2 to contract with Chappie's Deli to extend the contract until November 20th, 2025.
Increase of 5% is already approved, so that'll be next agenda.
Consider bid award for the renovation of Annex 2 on, hang on one second, let me get my stuff. On October the 17th, 2 bidders attended the bid meeting for the renovation of Annex 2. We did receive 2 bids, with Stalls and Son was the low bid with a base bid amount of $4,227,712. All minority and women-owned business documentation was submitted by Stallings and Sons. It is the recommendation that the project be awarded to Stallings in the amount of $4,227,712.
Tammy, can you put those bid tabulations up there so we can see them?
The 2 bidders were, of course, Stallings and Sons and Holly Henley. And the work that's being done in Annex 2 is mechanical, redoing of mechanical, electrical, and it is greatly time for a brand-new elevator in that building. So this will be 2 of the 3 floors that are currently in there. There will renovation of the electrical, which is very necessary. A lot of mechanical work. There may be 1 or 2 walls that is original to the building that, for whatever reason, we can't understand why it's there, and it's not load bearing, so we will remove 1 or 2 of those, but something that's very necessary today based on the age of this building.
Tammy, my entire screen is gone. Please.
So that will be next agenda.
Item number 17, consider appointment to the Montgomery County Cooperative District Board.
So this is basically where you're just replacing Florence.
That is correct.
That'll be next agenda.
Item number 18, consider appointment to the Montgomery County Local Community Redevelopment Authority.
That's replacing Florence again.
Correct.
Yeah, that'll be next agenda.
General information items, consider appointments to the Montgomery County Community Punishment and Corrections Board.
Commissioner Harris has recommended DeAndre
Meadows.
Meadows, and I have looked at Mr. Meadows' resume. Actually spent 12 straight nights with him at the Alabama National Fairs. He volunteered to help Sheriff Cunningham and Huey Thornton and Art Baylor with security. I fully support his nomination from Commissioner Harris, and I'd like to recommend that we put him on the next agenda to be voted on for this board.
DeAndre and I went through Leadership Montgomery together, so he's definitely involved in the community, and I wholeheartedly support this position for him.
The other one is Robert Bobo Gilpin. Bobo has decided he does not want to be reappointed, so we have that position open. Huey Thornton is someone I would like for us to consider. Many of y'all know Huey, retired police officer, very involved in the community. He handles all the security for Southern Poverty Law Center across the country. Has been very involved with civic organizations, and a really, really great guy, and supported by Sheriff Cunningham for this. So that's one I would like to consider for the board. We have 7 spots, so it's really not one commissioner gets.
That's something that, and I'm going to, and I'm gonna put it in writing to the attorney, that I want to get a list of the past 5 years of all dean's appointments. And then I also want to find out from you, do we have a law stating that we cannot appoint, that if a person, say for instance, like, I'll give you an example, Rhonda's about to leave, and we're about to get Mr. Costanza on. So are we to tell Mr. Costanza, if Rhonda appointed a person, then that doesn't automatically go to him? He doesn't have the right to fill that spot. So I want you to look that up, and then let's look at some other laws, some other way that other towns handle this.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'll put it in writing to you too.
So I would like to recommend that we add Mr. Meadows to the next agenda. Kendall?
Yes.
I'm Huey Thornton, I know him. I think he'll be an excellent addition to that board.
I agree.
And I agree on Mr. Meadows. I've known him since seventh grade, so.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Put Huey Thornton down and Meadows.
All right, I have both of those down, and we will get that ready
Great
for the next
additions.
agenda. Is that all for item number 19?
Oh, and Perry Hooper wants to be reappointed too. He's on there, I think. Go back to that list. James Williams is on there. Not our James Williams, it's another James Williams. Hubert Dixon is another one. Has anybody talked to Mr. Williams or Mr. Dixon?
Dixon wants to be reappointed, and I was supposed to talk to James too, but I didn't.
Oh, can you talk with him, Mr. Harrison, see if,
I'll try to get him, but I hope, hopefully he'll want to
So-
serve, because Bobo is really going to be our loss.
yeah. So if we, next agenda, I'd like to have Dixon, Hooper, Williams, and then Huey Thornton and DeAndre Meadows, unless there's some objection to.
Dan brings up a good point. Losing Bobo, do we have any attorneys on this board?
I think Bobo's, well, James is.
James Williams is an attorney.
Is he?
Okay,
Okay,
good.
good, thank you.
That makes it good.
All right, item number 20, upcoming appointments to the Montgomery County Recreation Board.
Don't they all want to be reappointed?
And then that's another question I have. So the other question is this, so you say we say everyone wants to be reappointed. But at the point, does a board member not supposed to work according to the person that appoints them? They're supposed, so help me understand how this works.
Well, they would work at the pleasure of the person.
Okay, that's what I'm
Meaning
trying to
they
figure
don't,
out.
yeah, they're not directed by the
So
person.
my
but
board
if
members,
you
if they
wanted to
were,
change
so if
somebody.
they were appointed by Dean, how can they work at the pleasure of Dean because he's deceased, unless they're talking to him, I don't know.
James Williams, Salter, did Mark want to be reappointed? I have not talked with him. He's okay with coming back or not coming back either way? Okay. So whose appointment is Mark Salter? Is there a certain, is it Carmen's?
It's mine.
Okay, good. So have you got somebody you
I
want?
do, I have
Okay.
Michael Jackson, he and I have talking, and he's willing to be on it. Mike is in the community, and also, I'm trying to build mine up with people being on this board, on my boards that are in my district. Mike's in my district, Mike has worked tirelessly with the kids, and he's wanting to be appointed on that board, and I told him,
Which Michael Jackson? There's several. Alive.
but not the dancing.
Not the dead
Not
one.
the singing, not the deceased one.
But there are several Michael
Yeah.
Jacksons that are active in the community.
So this is the Michael Jackson that's now currently on the.
Community Action Board, correct.
So Mr. Salters indicated he's good either way, but you have Mr. Jackson that you would like to appoint.
do.
So next agenda, we'll add Michael Jackson to be voted upon.
Can I say something, please? I spoke recently with Michael Jackson, and he knows nothing about your appointment.
I talked to him on, ma'am, you don't,
It's out of
you're
order.
out
No,
of order.
we already moved past that, so we'll get with Michael Jackson to make sure I'll be glad to get with him. We'll make sure he's okay.
You don't have to get with him, I spoke to
Okay.
him yesterday.
We'll make sure, yeah. So we're good. Anything else, Kendall?
Those are all the items.
Any commissioner, we got about 10 minutes. Any commissioners have anything they want to discuss? Seemed like there was something else, but I can't recall what it was. On the list back there, OJ, you see the list? Derek, you see the list?
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, I don't know, I probably can't pronounce them, can you?
Both sides are allowed in It's true.
Dawn Seabart?
Seabolt.
Do you want to do it now, or you can wait till 10 o'clock? I'll leave it up to you. You just doing an introduction? Well, come on, do it now. We got to give you 3 minutes to do that, and that'll carry us about time to take a break.
What,
So,
were you bringing anybody with you, and are they here?
are you good? Okay, yeah. You can always wait if you want to.
Dawn is in our current Leadership Montgomery class, and
Oh,
she is
good.
a fine, fantastic person.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you,
good.
Kendall. Good morning. I'm here this morning to tell you about the Grove MGM. This is a new local nonprofit that I started last year. We are renovating an old house downtown into affordable, dignified housing apartments for young women ages 18 to 24 that are aging out of foster care in Alabama. There will be 2 apartments housing 6 women, and the mission is to provide a supportive, trauma-informed environment for them while they learn how to keep a job, pay their bills, and relational skills to prepare them for the real world. We have a program coupled with our housing that will pair them with a one-on-one mentor who will help them develop their individualized plan for independence, whether that would be going to college, working full-time, or both. They'll pay rent on a scaled system, meaning that when they begin our program after obtaining employment, they will be responsible for 25% of their rent for 3 months, and then after 6 months, they'll pay 50% of their rent for another 3 months, and then by the time they've been with us for 12 months, they should be able to pay 100% of their rent. The idea is that once they've learned how to pay their bills for a full year, then they will begin the process of launching from our program. They are welcome to stay with us for 1 to 3 years, depending on their goals and needs. And we will get our referrals from the state's independent living program with the DHR, as well as Brentwood Children's Home. And I've been in multiple conversations with both entities. 20% of kids that age out of foster care become homeless because they are not prepared for the real world and don't have a stable family to fall back on when things are hard. They often don't have people to be references for them or anyone to co-sign anything on their behalf. Sometimes people won't even rent to them because they think that former foster youth means trouble, but that's very often not the case. They ended up in state custody through no fault of their own, but because of abuse or neglect from their caregivers. We want to not only provide safe and affordable housing and support, but also give opportunities for healthy relationships with stable adults in the community, so that once they move on from living with us, they still have a network of people in Montgomery to help them to be successful and break the cycle of trauma and neglect that put them in the foster care in the first place. We hope that the county and the city will support us in these efforts. With the Grove MGM, not only do we hope to decrease homelessness and improve the workforce in our area, but we plan to change the trajectory of these young people for generations to come by teaching them that they are valuable, capable, and worthy of being so much more than they've been led to believe. Thank you for letting me introduce the Grove this morning.
Thank you so much for being here.
Mr. Chairman, I want to jump in. I'm very familiar with this organization. I have been to the house that they are refurbishing. So basically what's happening is, we're very familiar with Brentwood Children's Home. So imagine an 18-year-old girl graduates high school and you're out of the system. You're removed. So you have to leave Brentwood Children's Home, the only home you've ever known. You have no family. You have probably no support system, and you are completely on your own. There is not a mechanism currently in Montgomery filling the gap to say, hey, come here, you can live here. We've got professionals that will help you, and they give them a bridge to getting a job and getting a place to live on their own. This is needed. It is not duplication of services. It is a remarkable project, and when I tell you that they're putting their own blood, sweat, and tears, the home is beautiful. They are doing it step by step, donation by donation, and this is going to be just a real feather in the cap of Montgomery to help these young women. I have personally made some small appropriations, so they have been vetted by the county commission. They are part of the group that we can make donations to, and I would encourage my colleagues to do that, to learn more about the Grove Montgomery. It is needed in our community, and I appreciate the hard work that you ladies do.
Thank you.
Where are you located?
It's on South Hull,
South Hall?
South Hull at Grove Street.
Right across from the Capitol Capitol Hill Rehab.
So it's walkable to multiple employers.
Right.
That's, which is a big thing. They're right downtown,
Absolutely.
walkable to employees.
Got to go into the library up there.
Libraries there.
Pet
and
resort, Hamburger King.
They're next door to that pet resort, so
That's
there's lots of things right there. So thank y'all.
Thank you
y'all
so
for
much.
being here. All right, it's 9:56, about to be 9:57, gives us 3 minutes. We'll be back at 10 o'clock sharp.